Hello and welcome. Welcome to clearing your money roadblocks here on the pathway to prosperity. One of my favorite things in the entire world to do is to help you to push aside those limiting beliefs, those lies that the world has taught you about money. And to begin, I would like for you to take out a journal, something that you can take notes on. Because today is going to be one of the most important sessions on the pathway of prosperity. One of the most critical and crucial. And the reason you're here is because you'd like to create more income or wealth. Consciously, you've probably done a lot of the work to, professionally, step up into your role, whatever your role is in business. You've probably done a lifetime of personal development, right? So you have all of this conscious work that you've been doing in order to really prepare you to be a success in business, to create this wealth, and yet it might still be eluding you, right? So maybe you're completely overqualified and underpaid. Does that sound familiar? Or perhaps you have a problem with owning your own value and you're completely undercharging for your services, right? Which keeps you in overwhelm and under-earning. Or perhaps you're in this holding pattern. Maybe you have all of this understanding of what you should and could be doing, and yet you never seem to launch. You never get that momentum. So what the heck is actually going on here? If you spend all this time in preparing yourself and getting yourself ready, if you are so prepared, why on earth wouldn't you be much further along right now than you find yourself? It can feel so awful. I'm quite aware. So here's what I know about the conscious work. So I've been doing the conscious work, probably since I was about 17 years old. I was in a car wreck when I was 17 years old, one of those life-changing experiences, when you think you're going to die and then you realize you didn't die, and then you think, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life now? I must be here for a reason. One of those, okay? Literally, I knew I was dying. I basically said goodbye to the world, and it wasn't scary. That should be good news, right? Yeah, let's definitely get rid of these. So we're going to talk about this change, this things that you've been doing consciously, and why, though they certainly help. I mean, it's much better to be engaged consciously in personal growth than in personal, either just stagnation or following the herd, or, just being even worse, negative, right? It's definitely better to be doing the conscious work. But why is it that it doesn't seem to keep you in that motivated state that you might find yourself when you've just finished a course or just come back from a conference? Or why is that? And it's because it is done on a conscious level. But that's why you're here. Okay, you're here because here, right here on the pathway of prosperity, we work at the subconscious level. We work at the level of your mind that is actually running the show. See, you think you're running the show, right? And that's why you make all these conscious decisions to better yourself, right? But in the back of your mind, if you have not mastered money, right, or mastered your business, or mastered your own productivity, please don't ever think I mean overworking, because it doesn't relate. I mean more done in less time, right? If you haven't mastered that, then it's because there is a subconscious roadblock. There's no question in my mind. In fact, if you have mastered anything in your life already, so I think of, health, love, family, service in the community, spirituality, business, finances. These are actually two different things. When you think about all of these things in your life, if you've mastered any one of those things, can you please just drop it in the comments? Tell me what you may have mastered in your life. Just let me know. Because here's the thing. If you have mastered anything in your life, and yet money, finances, is still an issue. I promise you. It's just like having a flat tire. Okay, so it's like you got all of this stuff that's going so well, and then you have a flat tire. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen this. Seen, incredible elite level Olympic training, personal trainers, training Olympians who physically, mentally in the game, just amazing, and yet can't rub two pennies together. Or how many times do we see people who seem to have all the, success in the world business-wise, and yet they're miserable, right? Flat tires. Okay, so anytime you have a flat tire, and whether that is health can also be a flat tire, love can be a flat tire, but you've got other areas that you've mastered, okay? Just let me know that you're tracking with me, that you get this idea, and let me know what you've mastered. Drop it. You're allowed to be proud of yourself for something you've mastered. Drop it in the comments. All right, so anytime you have one of these flat tires, it literally means that there is a subconscious limiting belief. Okay, there's something that plays in the back of your mind that is actually running the show. So I said, you think you're running the show. That's why you've invested in, the courses. That's why you've invested in the certifications. That's why you've done all this thing. And yet you're still not pushing through. Excellent. Wonderful. Exactly. So being an excellent intellectual, that's something to master, right? Mastering that part of our mind. And so as you've mastered many things, yet you still have these flat tires or roadblocks. These are definitely roadblocks, okay? And so, it's only fair that I tell you about mine, right? Because in my journey, I mastered many things. In fact, it just made it was my job to become a master at whatever it was that I decided I would do, because I didn't want to disappoint people. If I was going to be a speaker, then I better be an excellent speaker, or I hope, please. I am humble. Or if I was going to do business networking, I was just going to be as best I possibly could. I mastered business, yeah. But you know what I didn't master, really, was the money thing. Because even though, there was times when I was literally making $1,000 a day, and yet this was so uncomfortable to me, because I had absorbed one of the lies of the world, which is that you have to work hard for money. And so when I was making that $1,000 a day, it was incredibly uncomfortable. And so I made sure I worked. I worked 14-hour days. I have no idea what the heck I was doing besides causing overwhelm and stress in my system. But I did that, and I also gave it away. I made sure it got spent and it left as quickly as it came in. Why? Why on earth would I do that? Because one of the lies was that money was hard to come by, or money was hard to make. And number two was that rich people were jerks. That was another lie of the world, and I can remember exactly how and why that got imprinted into my mind. And thank goodness that's no longer with me. Oh my gosh. So if you're tracking with me, if you're getting what I'm saying, if you understand that, yes, you can agree that there are areas of your life that you just do wonderfully. You take care of your health, your well-being, your family, your, there's so many areas that you do really well, and yet this money thing just seems to elude you. That's exactly what we're here for today. Because no matter what you do, if you don't clear these roadblocks, then it'll always be hard for you to increase your income. In fact, you may even repel your own good. So in other words, if it's uncomfortable for you to be rich, for you to be wealthy, then you could literally be pushing your clients away. Yeah, energetically, or by doing a really crappy job of talking to them about how you can serve them. Oh, trust me, this thing works really ugly, and it just runs underneath, because you think you're consciously running the show, but the subconscious mind's actually always running it. So what happens is, whether you think consciously that you've got these goals, or no matter what you think, if you've got one of these lies of the world, one of these roadblocks that are playing in the back of your mind all the time, then you will always end up in self-sabotage, or you'll be procrastinating your life away. And those goals, those dreams, they'll go further and further out, and the shame and the guilt just builds up over time. Essentially, as I said, that foot on the brake, right? It causes such stress in your soul because you're meant to shine. You're meant to have everything that your heart can desire, that your mind can envision. You're meant to do those things. And when you have that foot on the brake because of one of these roadblocks, it's so painful. It's like you've got the foot on the gas with one foot and the foot on the brake with the other. Oh my gosh, can you imagine what that would do to your car? Imagine what it's doing to you. Right? This is why it's super important that you commit to removing your money roadblocks. You commit to programming your mind for prosperity. And so when you actually identify these roadblocks, right? And this is just one of the steps, one of the key steps to unlocking the money in your mind. And I don't know if it'll be an hour from now, tomorrow, or next week, somewhere along the pathway of prosperity, you'll find that you wake up with enthusiasm, ready to conquer everything that's in your path, just pushing those roadblocks to the side, going after your grandest vision, no longer feeling any guilt or shame or anything at all, because that self-sabotage and procrastination is a thing of the past. Instead, you're making strides in your business, right? Every single day, and celebrating your wins all along the way. And won't that be wonderful? Absolutely wonderful. All right, so as we're going to get started on this, I know you're excited to get these roadblocks actually out of your way. So if you've got that journal in front of you, if you actually have your notes from the first class, excellent, do that, because some of your limiting beliefs may be there. You can glimpse back to Free Your Voice and see what your limiting beliefs were, some of those things that may have kept your foot on the brake there. But today we're going to dial in. We're going to look straight in the eyeballs of money. All right? We're going to look at that thing that nobody wants to talk about. You know, people go to see therapists for two things mainly. One is money and sex. That's what I was going to say. Because nobody talks about money or sex. It's so freaking uncomfortable. And so today we're going to talk about money. We're not going to talk much about sex, but we'll talk about money, all right? We're going to get this really just front and center in your mind, the most uncomfortable subject. In fact, I want to hear from you. Drop me a note, and this is so common. If looking at the numbers, if the idea of if I've told you to make a spreadsheet to show me how you are gonna, you are gonna map out your pathway of prosperity. If I told you you're gonna create a spreadsheet, doing all of your expenses, all of your income, and your projected money miracle goals. If I told you to do that, how many of you would be like, ugh, it makes me sick to think about the money like that. I avoid looking at my bills. I avoid looking at the bank account unless tell me, well, yeah, drop it. Let me know. Do the numbers freak you out? Because this is where that ends. This is where that nonsense has to end. You got to learn to love the numbers. Love money. Love what the money actually does. It's freedom. Freedom that you deserve. And ultimately, when you are able to claim that you are worthy of wealth, when you are able, willing, able, ready, when you do claim your sovereignty, that you're resourceful, that you're worthy of wealth, when you allow it in, that level of self-love is what it is. It's no different from the other things that you do to take care of yourself. I'm going to say that again. Money, allowing it in, earning it, doing wonderful things with it for yourself and for those you love. It is no different for you to get this right than it is to engage in all of the self-love, spiritual practices you may do, the physical health practices, all of them. This is just as important and incredibly underestimated, overlooked. In fact, very few people even talk about it in the way that we do here. So let's get real. Let's look at this money thing. And that's how I gotta scroll down to see you. I missed all these. There they are. Excellent. Look at this. I'm sorry, my doing more than one thing at a time is, I'm gonna focus right here with you. Okay. Thank you though. Lovely. What's going on over here? All right, so let's get real. Let's look at money. Looking money in the eye, looking money in the face. So now you've got your journal in front of you, and you're going to be doing some quick writing. Okay, so we're going to go through a few of the questions that I have my clients look at when they're, identifying what may be their major roadblocks to money. We'll go through some of them here today. And these are ones that I'll usually pull up one or two that you can absolutely work with today in the process that we'll be doing here in just a few minutes. So I'm going to have you close your eyes and go into a little trance, and know that you can open and close your eyes. And when you open your eyes, when you're in trance, and close them back down again, it actually helps you to go deeper. So in this process, what I'll be doing is I'll put you into a little bit of a trance so that you can access what your subconscious mind's saying, not your conscious mind, okay? And when something comes up that feels like yuck, I want you to open your eyes and scribble it down just as quickly as you can. So when something comes up that feels uncomfortable, that feels like, oh, yeah, that's probably getting in the way, right? Then I want you to open your eyes, scribble it down, and then just allow your eyes to close and keep going. And since this part of the process isn't necessarily hypnotic, you can absolutely participate. The next piece, I'll give you the disclaimer that if you have epilepsy or any type of psychiatric condition, that you don't participate. But this part, you're good. All right? Okay, so with that, I love that. Yes. All right, so with that, I want you can close your eyelids right on down. And as you close your eyes, you can take a nice deep breath and let it out slowly, twice as slow as you inhale. And just allow these slow breaths for a moment or two to relax your mind and relax your body. Be aware of your feet flat on the floor. And allow your jaw to drop slightly, relaxing your shoulders to relax down from your ears. Feel your hands heavy and your feet. And you may be aware of the comfort of the chair you're sitting in or the temperature of the room. Just allowing yourself to drop down into that space. It's becoming so easy for you to find that calm inner space, the space where you learn while you just relax. And while you're in this space, I'm going to say some words to you. You're going to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind, the very first thing. And be aware that this is what comes from your gut. This is what comes up. This is not the thing that you're meant to know or understand. This is not the thing that you've learned. This is not the thing that you affirm to yourself at a really loud voice, trying to overwrite the lies that are in your mind. No, this is the lies. And they won't all come up as ugly, are like yuck. But when they do come up as ugly, when they do come up as an obvious roadblock on your pathway of prosperity, I want you to just open those eyes and scribble them down. I say scribble because that's what my writing looks like. You may have very lovely handwriting. And so, as you relax now, without any expectations or presuppositions, just follow along as we go through a few of these. And when you hit one that feels like yuck, write it down. All right. And so now when I say money is, what's the next thing that comes to your mind? If I use the word wealth is, or rich people are, or really rich people are. How about the problem with having money is, or the problem with being rich is. Or how about if I become really wealthy, I'm afraid I'll lose. Here's a good one. If I charge a lot of money for my services, people will think I am. Excellent. How about taking a look at your childhood, your family? Just thinking about what the beliefs, your thoughts around money, wealth, and success were that you grew up with. Mom said or thought money was what? Or my dad said or thought money was. Growing up, I learned that money was all right. And there are other roadblocks in the pathway of prosperity. But with those questions, you likely came up with one or two, which is good for you to work with here today. And if you would, just drop what one of the lies that the world taught you was. Go ahead, because we all experience these in one way or another. I shared with you that one of them was that you had to work really hard. And that came from a mom who was a single mom and worked as a hairdresser. And I never saw her, ever. And the other was that rich people were awful. And that's a very nice word. Or a nice way of describing them. And that was because, well, my brother and my sister's father was rich, which is a word that wasn't used nicely in my home. And it was always that, he was an awful human. And he must have gotten his money through, unscrupulous means as well. That was another one. So I was always trying to avoid looking like I was like him. What a crazy thing to do to a little baby girl. But that's the kind of stuff. Your parents don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. No idea what they're doing. All right, so you may have come up with one or two. And that's what's really important today, is that you are looking at one or two of those blocks and thinking of those blocks is one, way of looking at these blocks in the pathway of prosperity, but so is the idea of stories and excuses that you use to keep yourself stuck. So these roadblocks in the path of prosperity may well be a story that you've created about past experiences or excuses that you use, putting it outside of yourself, right? So perhaps you have past failures that you point to. I can't tell you how many clients have come to me because 2008 just about killed them, and it's way past 2008, and they're still suffering from the recession then, but you're here now, and so you're not going to experience that pain that they did, right? Your story will be far different in this time than theirs was. Or maybe you've told yourself that you're not good enough, or you don't have the time, the skill, the talent. Or maybe something like success is for others, not for me, or you're too young, too old. You just don't have the personality, which is just the most crazy one. All right. So looking at either the money roadblock itself or the actual stories, these excuses, right? So I want you to choose the one that feels the most painful, the one that's hardest to look at, right? The one that feels like, oh, yuck. I want you to choose that one. And so you're going to choose a story or choose the roadblock, right? And you're going to stay calm. And you're going to fully visualize that outcome that you're looking for. So now that you've got those roadblocks in mind, you can think of them between you and the outcome that you're here for. There's a reason you're here. And that's to create more money in your life, more financial freedom, whatever that looks like. So I want you to just put that down now. Just write that down just as succinctly as you can. Just, if you want to double your income here in the midst of this chaotic world, write that down and write down what the number is. If you want to double your clientele in your coaching business, write that down. Whatever it is, the outcome, all right? I want you to see it. All right. And so now I will give the disclaimer that if you have epilepsy or psychiatric condition, you can just stop this one right here. You can follow along with your eyes open if you believe you'd be all right. But I would recommend that you consult a physician before you would engage in any hypnotic processes. It's not recommended. All right, so with that now, for those of you who are ready to go into trance, if you're ready for me to help you to go into trance and to help these money roadblocks to no longer affect you in any way, who's up for that? Excellent. So now, if you're ready, I do want you to just make sure you're comfy. Find yourself there with your arms and legs uncrossed, comfy in the chair. You may even want to, put your hands with your palms up in your lap. Right? And just allow yourself now to relax. And you can just allow yourself to relax by looking up with your eyeballs at a point on the ceiling, taking a nice deep breath in and letting it go slowly and closing those eyes down while you are looking up at this point right between your own eyebrows. They call it the third eye. There's a reason why yogis stare into this point between their eyes. It's because it has your conscious mind go far, far away. So without struggle or strain, without hurting yourself, look up like you're looking at that point between your own eyebrows and turning your attention inward and upward, taking a deep breath in and just let it go. And you can forget all about your eyes and the position of your eyes now too. Just doing that has caused your body to release a whole cocktail of neurochemicals that are designed to help you to have a sleep of the nervous system, just to go out, just to relax. Just allow that mind of yours to just drift, take off, go away. It's so easy. And all you did was decide to go within, to go to that still place within you that allows you to relax and to learn. That's right. And while you're in this state, doesn't matter whether you actually hear me, whether you follow along at all, because your subconscious mind hears every word that I say. It learns, it takes on these suggestions. It teaches you how to remove those money roadblocks, how to completely have them never affect you again. And won't that be wonderful when it happens? And since you want this is something that you want for yourself. This is not something that I do to you or for you. It is a collaboration between you and I. And so when you relax and you just allow these words to do what they do, because it's what you want, because it's what you've decided, it's what you committed to on this pathway of prosperity, is once and for all leaving behind the past, the stories, these excuses, or the lies that were taught to you around money and wealth. Very good. And so now it's a well-known fact that almost everyone, anyone at one time or another faces one or more fears around money. And sometimes people are fearful that they won't have enough money to pay their bills. Or sometimes people are fearful that they won't have enough to retire on or to take care of their family, their obligations as an adult. And some people fear earning it and then losing it. Some people are fearful because they've never been taught how to make more than enough money. And some are fearful that they aren't smart enough or deserving enough to earn all the money they want. Some are fearful of the responsibilities that come with having more money. What do they say? Mo money, mo problems. And some are fearful of what others will think of them when they earn more than their friends or family members. And in truth, those fears, they're real to you. Those feel really real. Well, you have your own set of reasons and maybe even your own personal experiences of why they're real for you. And some of those fears, they're known to you, and some may not even be known and unconscious, just hiding there in the subconscious, but truly running the show. And regardless of what your fear or fears are, regardless of your reasons for having fear, there's one bigger truth that you must face and address it today if you're now totally ready to release those fears around money, to clear those money roadblocks once and for all. And here's that truth. As long as you focus on the roadblock, as long as you focus on the fear, as long as you allow it to sabotage your growth and success, you cannot focus on the freedom to make money and find new ways to increase your financial growth and success. So release your old fears now. For as long as you allow your fears to hold you hostage, you're a victim of the fear. Release it right now. As long as you give energy to the fear, as long as you stare at those roadblocks as if they're real, you feed its growth. Release it right now. And since you can only focus on one thing at a time, starting today and every day going forward, you're going to focus on your financial and life success. As you learn to recognize and release those fear or fears that have held you back in the past. And starting today and every day going forward, you can be aware of your fears. You can be aware of what your subconscious thinks you risk by being successful. And you can see yourself, you can feel yourself now releasing and overcoming, and choose to direct all of your focus, your attention, your actions on the solution to fuel your success. And so now, just allowing the breath to soften the body, knowing that as the body relaxes, the mind relaxes. As the mind relaxes, the body relaxes more. It's so easy to let go. Understanding that in order to do this, you need optimism and a step-by-step plan, focused persistence to take daily action towards achieving those financial and your non-financial goals for prosperity. As you recognize and release your fears. And so to help you use the power of your mind more effectively, you can follow along to do this simple, easy exercise with me. Right here, right now, you're going to face your fear. You're going to put that money roadblock right in front of you. You're going to look at it in the eye. You're going to look at it in a gentle, calm, relaxed way. And you're simply going to walk around it. That's right. So now, putting your goal out in front of you on the pathway of prosperity, I want you to put it out there, putting it out there right at the date that you've decided that you'll achieve it, that you'll have it, that you'll hold it in your hand, what you've seen in your mind, what you've held in your heart, you'll hold it in your hand. See that out there along the pathway of prosperity. And now you're going to take a few gentle, deep breaths, just breathing in and out. Breathing in slowly and breathing out twice as slowly. Breathing in and out. And one more time, just breathing nice deep breath in and letting go. As you release, just be relaxed right now. And now I'd like for you to choose one of those fears, one of those money roadblocks that you have around money. And it can be a fear of not having enough. It can be a fear of not being smart enough, or a fear of failing. It could be a fear of not being capable of managing your money. It could be a fear that you'll lose your tribe if you get wealthy. But just choose it right now. Put it in the way. And so whatever fear you may have about money, or your ability to earn the amount of money you want to earn, just go with the first thing that pops into your mind. And we're going to call that the money-related fear that's in your way. That mental money roadblock. And so now, allowing yourself to think about that financial goal that you want to achieve. Just knowing it can be a specific amount of money or something you want to do with the money. You could even put what you are going to do with the money out on the pathway of prosperity. That's a wonderful thing. How will you reward yourself? How will you know? So maybe it's a specific amount of money or something you'd like to buy. A trip with family, perhaps, or a charitable donation. You get to choose. And so now what I want you to do is to visualize the fear that you feel is standing in your way from achieving this goal. And so you can take this fear, which is just a thought, and I want you to see it. I want you to project it right in front of you. Put it right in front of you in a very calm way. And you can be very aware of it without judgment. Okay? Be aware of the feeling that just thinking about this fear gives you. Feel that feeling. And you can be aware of how easy or difficult it may be to put this fear right in front of you. As you make this so apparent, just put it right in front of you, awareness. And the important thing is that you continue to breathe calmly and rhythmically. Just breathing. You're standing on the pathway of prosperity. You may choose to ground yourself, breathing calmly, rhythmically. And then see yourself stepping around to the right or to the left of your fear. Right now, see and feel yourself achieving the income goal that you chose. Or see or feel yourself doing what you said you want to do with the money that you chose just a minute ago. That's right. And doing this sidestepping, it acknowledges that fear. And it shows your brain that you can step around it and still achieve the goal that you have. It is inevitable. And so now you can play through that scenario in your mind a few times over and over again. As you go back, you can see and feel the same fear again. So that's in front of you. See that again one more time. And then step around the other way. And just move around it with ease. You may even notice it. You may feel it. You might feel a bit of, aha, I did it. Or you might feel like you're kind of running away from it. Doesn't matter what you feel. You did get past it. You may even feel your shoulders rub against it as you go past. It's all good. Just do it. And see yourself going past it right there to reach your goal. Yeah. Very good. And the more you practice acknowledging that the fear is there, you can see it, you can calmly observe it, you can look at it, and then you can move around it knowing it's just a thought. And you're not your thoughts. Fears are normal, right? The more you calmly observe it, breathe and move around it, the more you'll empower yourself to be in acceptance that yes, your fears are normal, and you have the power to be aware of them and to go right around them, to sidestep them. And the key here is for you to see and even feel the fear or any obstacle that you may face in a very relaxed manner, okay? So without giving it any energy, just staying calm, observing it. And you can breathe in your personal power and breathe out that fear. You can breathe out that obstacle, that money roadblock. So now, as I repeat it, you can stay calm. You'll observe that fear. You breathe in your personal power and breathe out that fear, that obstacle that's on your way of the pathway of prosperity. And I want you to fully experience and visualize yourself taking action and getting around any fear or obstacle that you have. And you can repeat this process over and over again as more of these come up for you. As you're getting better and better at seeing your thoughts that are keeping you from your goals. You're getting better and better at seeing those money roadblocks in the way. And now you have the ability to face your fears, those obstacles, calmly as you observe them, and then sidestep around them, letting your mind know you are in control. Now you are the victor. Now you are the winner. That's right. Feel it in your body. You're the victor, the winner. And now for the next few seconds here, I want you to just listen and repeat after me what I'm about to say. And you can say this under your breath, or you can say it out loud. And just say what it is that I'm saying, repeating after me. You can say, I am not my fears. My fears are just emotions that I easily manage. Again, I am not my fears. My fears are just emotions that I easily manage. My fears are now being turned into my fuel for success. My fears are now being turned into my fuel for success. Transmuting. Alchemy. Here and now. With the breath. Taking a deep breath in, allowing the breath to soften the body. As you do that again. I am not my fears. My fears are just emotions that I easily manage. I am not my fears. My fears are just emotions that I easily manage. My fears are now being turned into my fuel for success. My fears are now being turned into my fuel for success. I now release any fear that's been holding me back. I now release any fear that has been holding me back. Very good. And now you can just allow your mind to continue to wander, bringing to your awareness what it is so important that you see. Because if you're not seeing what the subconscious is doing, it just runs the show. And so now you can allow any fear or obstacle, any other money roadblocks that may be in your way, to just percolate up from your subconscious mind. Just allow it to come up into your consciousness so you can just observe it. See it. Look at what has been hidden until now. As you do this calmly, lovingly, gently, without judgment, you can even imagine yourself as a small child bringing these fears to you. And you would address that small child calmly, lovingly, gently, and without judgment. And so you can be the observer of the thought, not the reactor to it. You can be the witness of the thought or the emotion or fear, right? You can breathe it in and breathing out calmly as you weaken the effect it has had on you in the past. And as you do this, know that you are in charge. Know that you are in control. And that you are now empowered to recognize and release any present or future fear, any obstacle at all that might get in your way. And you can just take another moment now. And just again, be in observation, in metacognition, seeing what you think as the observer, calmly. And you can take any fear, any obstacle, any money roadblock right now, any emotion that's associated with it, and calmly, lovingly, and gently observe it and release without judgment. Very good. And you can come back to this process as often as you like, as other fears may come up. We did this process today around money, but it could just as well be around love, It could just as well be around your relationship with spirit. These are all the same thing, my dear one. And so now, becoming more aware of your place in the room, you can allow energy to return to your body. You may even want to wiggle your fingers and toes. You can take a nice deep breath in, bringing that breath up behind your eyes, refreshing your mind. And when you're ready, you can just open your eyes, coming back to the here and now. And please do let me know what happened for you, what came up for you. Did you find that empowering? Did you find it difficult to push past those fears? Do they feel like bullies? I only say that because I know that feeling myself. Or did you find it easy once you knew that you were in control because you were breathing and you were seeing these things perhaps really clearly for the first time? So let me know what came up for you. And what is very different about the work that you do here in hypnosis, as you are really, unlocking the money that's in your mind here. You do it in a way that is far different from many of the practices that are out there that are all around, what I think of as just like kind of whitewashing the whole thing. And I've been at this study for a long time, and just trying to use those things to kind of, as I say, put lotion on the outside, right? When your belly hurts, when the fear is in your stomach, right? But you're putting on the affirmations, you're putting on the conference, you're putting on the certificate, so you've got some lovely, whatever it looks like. You're doing all that on the outside, right? But truthfully, your stomach's in knots of fear. It doesn't quite work. As well as allowing yourself to actually see what's got your foot on the brake and doing things in this very powerful and unique way. And when you work like this, when you work with the subconscious, it's the easiest way ever to get out of your own way. And so, if you enjoyed tonight's process, please do drop me a note, let me know. And invite your friends in. This recording will be in the unit, so you can go back to it and do it as often as you want. You can also invite your friends in who, well, my goodness, those who may be developing even newer fears because of what's going on in the world, right? People may see COVID as a big ass brick in the middle of their path. Whatever it may be, invite them in. And be ready, because next week we're going to do some fun stuff. We're really, truly going to make friends with money. So, I promise you, the lotions on the outside is a good one. But what I also should say is, this is what's beautiful. This is an important distinction. Because the lotions with the conscious work, it doesn't actually get to the belly. But when you get into trance, when you go in, right? When you go underneath, it does sink in like lotion on dry skin. It actually gets to the problem, right? So that those changes happen on levels and ways that you didn't even know were possible. And truthfully, your imagination has no limits, and neither do you. You have no idea what your, potential is, because your potential expands as you move towards it. Your potential expands as your mind expands. As your mind expands, you can never ever go back to that old way of thinking, believing, or stopping yourself from allowing your dreams to become a reality. So, I look forward to working with you next week to make friends with money. I'll see you then. Good night, everyone.